What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Rat2501 here. Alright, guys. We got another Warhammer part of Double Feature Friday coming for you. And this is Correcting the Most Popular Misconceptions of Warhammer 40k Lore by Major Kill. This looked interesting, so I wanted to check this out. So let's see what he's got for us. And go.
G'day, guys and gal. The lore of Warhammer 40k is this big old convoluted thing, full of contradicting lore and many retcons. It's also stacked with memes, which is great, but unfortunately has resulted in the less intelligent parts of the community, that being Major Kill subscribers, confusing memes with actual lore. This is compounded by the fact that in order to disprove a lot of these myths, you would have need to have read and remember books from over a decade ago.
Text-to-speech is the only correct lore.
A lot of people are getting many parts of the lore wrong, and I do think a part of that is my fault, because sometimes I like to add my own personal Aussie embellishment here and there. So as a lore master, no, it's a super gay term, as a dude who makes money by presenting Warhammer lore in a digestible format, it's my job to go through some of the biggest misconceptions and myths in 40k and set the record straight. Before we get started, September.
Okay, so... Okay, so I had to skip through a commercial he put into the video.
Today we'll go through some of the most prominent myths in 40k and dispel them, giving you guys the true canon lore. I won't be dispelling memes because memes are fucking memes. If you can't tell the difference between a meme and a misconception, then maybe you should get tested for autism. Link for that will be in the description.
There's a lot of people need that.
Let's get into it. Everyone knows that I'm a slut for the Eldar. If I could be any race or faction in 40k, it would be a Craftworld Eldar. But Major Kill, that's boring. They have to exhibit extreme self-control and can never have any fun. Timmy, you wily little shit. Stop spreading myths. It is an
He's got Timmy and the other guy's Commissar Gaunt's got Buttermilk Bob.
Can't love. Slaanesh isn't the god of love and missionary. She's the god of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. The Craftworld's standard of living is
Slaanesh isn't a she either.
They
Slaanesh
party,
isn't
they drink, they shag. No, their babies don't all come out of test tubes. Ironically, that's the Dark Elder who mostly have to do that. The Craftworlders can even use their psychic abilities. This is because they rejected Slaanesh before rejecting Slaanesh was cool. The Dark Elder were just lucky that they were in the webway when shit went south. The Craftworlders actively fled the calamity, and as a reward, they get to maintain a fucking great life. Sure, Craftworlds get destroyed, and sure, some aspect warriors on each Craftworld go balls to the walls and become more or less a robot, but that is a small percentage. Craftworlders can also feel angry, vengeful, and hateful without any negative blowback. They don't have to suppress the shit out of their emotions. As long as they have their spirit stones, they can get away with a lot of shit. The only time they start getting in trouble is if their fuckery gets so severe that their spirit stone abandons them. Then yeah, they're fucked. You have to do some naughty shit to get to that point. The grim darkness of 40k is a huge theme of our beloved hobby. However, a lot of people think it's way more of a thing than it is. No, 95% of the Imperium isn't dedicated towards training soldiers and making weapons of war. No, most of the Imperial citizens are not forced into grueling labour. No, the only food available isn't grounded up rats mixed with corpse starch. Large swathes of the Imperium have never seen or felt war. They live on worlds not too different from our own. At most, only about a quarter of Imperial worlds are hive worlds, which are known for their grim darkness, because it's like 100 billion people squished together in these massive cities. That means there are hundreds of thousands of worlds where the oceans aren't yet polluted, where cafes are a huge vibe, and where you can grow lemons in your backyard. Obviously, books and lore about these civilized worlds, as they're called, isn't that exciting, so there isn't many about them. Whereas shit like Necromunda or war-torn worlds on the front lines are, so that's where the attention goes. There's even a thing called a pleasure world, which are entire worlds dedicated purely to chilling out, releasing mixtapes, and having orgies. Pleasure worlds are where all those big-ass fake titty Instagram influencers live. So yeah, the myth that the Imperium is so grimdark and depressing all the time that it may as well get destroyed is just total bullshit. Most of the Imperium lives at the standard of our current Earth, if not better. So in the next one, a lot of people think that the setting of 40k doesn't actually have long left, timeline-wise. The Necrons are awakening. Their advanced technology too much for the other races to handle. The Tyranids are also coming in ever-increasing numbers, with the belief that the devastating hive fleets we've already seen are merely scout ships, preparing for the arrival of a gigantic fuck-off huge hive fleet that will consume the galaxy, which is becoming more and more of a problem. Basically, everyone's fucked, so nothing matters. This is completely false. No, the galaxy isn't doomed. Chaos, the Necrons, and the Tyranids are all very beatable, and all have very exploitable weaknesses. For the Necrons, it seems as if the only thing keeping them down is the fact that most of them are still asleep. But this is
and they're fighting each other.
In the Infinite and the Divine novel, great book by the way, towards the end of it, most of the Necrons are waking up, but without the Silent King to unite them / mind control them, they've broken out into petty wars with each other. Many Necron lords have already been destroyed by other Necron lords. It's blatantly obvious that a united Necron force is pretty much impossible to achieve. The only one capable would be the Silent King, but even if the Silent King
and he doesn't do anything,
he's so obsessed with killing the Tyranids that he wouldn't even really be considered an Avengers level threat. Like, the dude's been sulking for 60 million years. The idea of galactic domination is probably almost petty to him now. For the Tyranids, it's still only a theory that an endless tide of bugs are about to arrive. Also, when the Great Rift opened, it actually knocked the hive mind on its ass for a bit. If the Tyranids were so vast and numberless, then how would a warp incident occurring in one galaxy that only a few of their scout fleets are in, how could that kick the hive mind in the dick so hard? I would say that the Tyranids are not as limitless as we think, and even if they do eventually come with their big-ass bug army, the Line will probably be awake by then, so problem solved. For Chaos, well, the Big E has finally awoken, and he's already kicked Nurgle in the jaw pretty hard. So if he can do that, then I'm sure Slaaneash's balls are soon to be squished as well.
Slaaneash's
to an
balls!
older myth that some people still cling on to. The myth that Sigmar from Warhammer Fantasy, and you guessed it, Age of Sigmar, is one of the Lost Primarchs. This has been disproven multiple times as A, it's clear the Lost Primarchs have been destroyed, B, numerous characters are aware of their fate, and C, the Lost Primarchs most likely led, or at least met their legion before going kaput. On top of that, the setting of Age of Sigmar has really transcended beyond Fantasy and 40k. Like, Sigmar in his current form is way too powerful to be a Primarch, and he never even grew to Primarch size.
He's basically an alternate of the Emperor.
To be fair to the people who believe this myth, it seems as if GW originally had plans for the two settings to more or less be connected more than they were, hence we're happy to use Sigmar as a Lost Primarch. But those plans have since been binned ages ago. This next myth triggers a fair amount of people when it's brought up, which we love. The myth that guardsmen are nothing more than scared shitless cannon fodder. Guardsmen are considered some of the best soldiers humanity has
Guardsmen are badasses,
if
man. I know about that.
They would probably be more skilled.
Dude, all the people on Catachan Jungle Fighters are guardsmen.
Obviously not every guardsman is equal. Cadians are crack shots before they turn 10, and the Death Corps of Krieg have nearly unlimited morale. But even niche guardsmen, such as the Gudrunite guardsmen from the first Eisenhorn book, prove themselves to be absolute warriors. Like, these dudes were trained on a pretty low-key world, so they definitely weren't the best guardsmen. But they were still brave enough to not only escape from the chaotic forces that had commandeered them, but then be willing to attack a mind-bending Xenoworld full of chaos cultists and space marines. Guardsmen do the bulk of the fighting across the Imperium, and it's the guardsmen who have held Cadia against the entire force of chaos for 10,000 years. If a soldier isn't good enough to be a guardsman, then they are instead inducted into their planet's defense force, or they end up being a part of the local militia. For the next myth, which I kind of take some responsibility for spreading because I thought it was funny, is that the Tower are a bunch of commie fish people. The Tower are not particularly aquatic or directly come from fish. The homeworld is more rocky and full of plains.
It looks like Voldemort got caught in a grease fire.
Bovine-y than anything. Also, their culture is more like a blend of numerous Asian systems. The caste system is Hindu, their Japanese Gundam aesthetic is very weeby, and their government is very reminiscent of the Chinese Communist Party. So it's not entirely inaccurate to call them commies, but there is more to them than that. While we are chatting about the Tau, there is another myth here to dispel, that being that the Tau society requires the Ethereals to function. The argument for this is that the Tau were going to genocide themselves until the Ethereals arrived and saved the day. However, with the Ethereals' mind control abilities, it's more than possible that they instigated the Tau civil war so that when they arrived, the Tau would be willing to sacrifice their individuality to serve them. This is further backed up by the fact that the Farside Enclaves exist, which are a collection of Tau-controlled worlds that have zero Ethereals on them, and they're still extremely functional. Now to bust the myth that everyone wishes was true, but it just isn't.
Not exactly a myth bust,
cannot bend time, space, and reality. It just gives orcs an edge. No,
massive
the God
edge.
Emperor isn't alive because orcs believe he is.
Yeah, I know that.
The extent of their war power isn't limitless. If you convince an orc he is a god, he will grow more powerful, but he won't become a god. If you tell an orc that the gun he is holding can destroy a planet with one shot, it will probably get a DACA boost, but it won't destroy a planet with one shot, even if the orc completely believes it. The war allows orc technology to work, but the orcs still have to build shit. If they want a heavy DACA gun, they have to make something that looks like it would have heavy DACA. Orc war power doesn't affect other races either. If orcs think someone is really powerful, they won't suddenly turn into a Primarch. Sebastian Yarrick is a great commander and warrior, not because the orcs believe he is, but because he actually is.
Because he just freaking
If
is.
Orc war affected other races, then Blood Angels would be incredibly fast, and Imperial Fists would have way more firepower than they do. I'm sorry to ruin the fun and the memes, but that's pretty much the purpose of this video. The last myth, which you aren't going to like hearing, is that there are no good guys in 40k, only varying degrees of bad.
Yeah.
That's just incorrect. Just because a faction isn't a wholly benevolent convent of do-gooders doesn't mean they're bad.
Well, not bad, but it's just like real life. There is no real good or bad. There's various shades of grey, really.
Strive to keep their people alive, only attacking when necessary. The Tau, despite using questionable methods, are very welcoming of the other races, and they seek to create a utopia of advanced science and quality of life. Space Marines
at the cost of individuality, hence
regularly
bad.
give their lives to protect the innocent. This myth stems from the fact that because each faction is so vast, there are evil aspects of each one, which people think overpowers the good. Sure, some craft worlds are more bloodthirsty than others, but that doesn't mean the Eldar as a race are evil. I mean, the Dark Eldar are, but that's besides the point.
That's besides the point.
Malevolent use the hospital as bait.
No, the Dark Eldar aren't evil. They're just assholes.
Dicks. Just because the Ethereals aren't crazy about free will doesn't mean the Tau deserve to be hated. There are very clearly evil factions and not evil factions. So yeah, you can say that the Imperium, the Craftworld and Exodai Eldar and the Tau are the good guys, whilst Chaos, Tyranids and Dark Eldar are the bad guys. It's obviously a scale, and the good guys aren't perfect by any means. But to say that the Imperium is just as bad as Chaos is fucking retarded. Myths and memes are good fun, but it's important to be able to tell the difference. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel...
Okay. Gotta get rid of his patron thing because he does hentai on his he does schmentai on his patron, so all that's gotta be cut out. But yeah, some of those things I already knew, you know, but other ones, you know, that were kind of interesting. Yeah, like, you know, like, but how he said, like, you know, there is no good guys, there's only varying degrees of bad. That's true in a way, though. It is true in a way, because it's just like real life, you know. Everybody's a bad guy to somebody, you know, really. It doesn't matter how benevolent you are. You're always somebody's bad guy. So, you know, it just is. But I understand what he meant, how, you know, just because somebody has done bad things doesn't mean they're just a bad guy. You know, you are the bad guy, but this does not mean you're bad guy. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was interesting. That was informative. And, well, you guys know the drill. Like this video, subscribe to me, help me grow back, guys, to where I was before and beyond. We're aiming for that 100,000K by the end of the year. We probably won't make it, but hell, I know it's going to be one hell of a fun ride trying to get there, guys. What do you think, huh? Let's see how close we can get to it. That'd be pretty awesome. Alright, so, also don't forget to click on the link to the original down description. Get down to Major Keel's channel. Like his original, sub to him. As far as his schmentai goes, that's between you and him. Alright? I don't endorse anything like that on this channel. Alright? It just is. But I'm not going to deny the fact that it exists and other people enjoy it. There you go. This is just about, you know, laughing your ass off and finding out some things that are kind of interesting. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.